When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some...
Good evening and welcome to the Big Nerd Pub Quiz General Knowledge Edition, your weekly dose of trivia covering a wide range of challenging subjects. I'm your host, as always, Mark Hughes, coming live from my bedroom here in Restrevor, County Down, and I'm delighted to have you join me on this week 10 of the lockdown. I know Champions League was meant to happen tonight, but that's what it is. Over the next hour, you'll be tested over 8 rounds on everything from current affairs, history, sport, arts, music, and much, much more. Welcome back if you've played before. If this is your first time, you'll know what to do. If this is your like I said, if this is your first time, then this is how you play the Big Nerd Pub Quiz. Here we go. Like I said before, you can always play the good old-fashioned way with pen and paper, or the best way to do it is to use the Google form in the link of the YouTube description in the YouTube description below. You can play as a team or individually, it's totally up to yourself. Open the Google link and enter your email address and answer the multiple choice questions as they come up. There are 8 rounds with 6 questions each. There's only one correct answer per question. Once the quiz is finished, just hit submit and you'll get your scores at the very end, but stick about to see the answers for the quiz at the very end of the night. It's recommended that you stream the quiz on a laptop or a television and play using the Google form. So good luck and have some fun. Let's get going. Also tonight, just a heads up, you can get in contact with me using all the social media channels there on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If you want a shout out at any point, give me a message. By all means, I'll try to get a mention to you at some point. Best way to do it is via the Facebook Messenger or the Instagram Messenger. Don't forget to share all your pics if you're playing out there. It's good to see everyone having the crack and enjoying themselves. And yes, use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz on all the social media channels. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the bell button below to get notifications of upcoming quizzes and other things throughout the week. You can also play all the previous episodes of Big Nerd Pub Quiz and run the pub quiz through Zoom at any point. So, anyway, like I said before, Saturday night is General Knowledge Night, and that's going to be from now on every week. So, General Knowledge Quiz is on Saturday at 8 p.m. If you're looking for something, random trivia and bits and bobs like that, it's on every Saturday. Our specialist quizzes as well include the Big Nerd Kids Quiz, which happens every Tuesday at 2. So, if you've got little ones who want to be educated for a little bit, 6 rounds, 36 questions on a random range of topics. Then tune in at 2 p.m. We've got a lot of schools that actually do play it, with frontline workers' kids all playing every week at 2. So that's pretty cool. Also, for you specialists out there, we've got the Marvel DC quiz coming up on the 1st of June. That's been written by my buddy Neil, and it's shaping up to be a fantastic quiz. And next Wednesday, the Father Ted quiz, written by my buddy John. It's going to be a real fun one. It's been one of those ones that's probably the most requested one out there. Oh, speaking of really big requests, we've got the Friends quiz coming up Monday week. That's the 8th of June. We're going to be testing your knowledge on the 90s sitcom Friends. And that's your lineup for June. All next month, we've got a full calendar there. Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays with friends. Big Nerd Music Quiz, a Simpsons quiz written by my buddy Rye. We've got the movie quiz supported by Banterflix, James Bond quiz, a 2000s quiz, a horror quiz. And we've pitched this as well, a Pokemon quiz and a Big Nerd Wrestling quiz. We've got loads of people texting in and saying that they want all of those topics covered in the next couple of weeks. So yes, it will happen. I've got my buddy Paul and my buddy Raph who are going to be writing the Pokemon and Big Nerd Wrestling quiz respectively. Don't forget, everyone playing tonight can win this class t-shirt from Northern Iron Tees. You can use the promo code BigQuiz for a 10% discount if you want to actually buy the t-shirt itself. And also a trial pack of Enerzaid for tonight's winner. It's I think it's 6-pack or 4 or 6-pack of Enerzaid from Big Nerd Quiz. Use the Big Nerd Quiz for 25% discount. Enerzaid's pretty much like old school Lucasade. It's pretty cool. And don't forget, you can buy, obviously, the t-shirt from the website as well. And you can support the Big Nerd Pub Quiz by donating to PayPal and Patreon. Like I said, the quiz is always free to play. However, you can support the work that goes into making it. Consider donating as little as £1 to the PayPal or become a Patreon. You can also donate on Facebook now. But a massive thank you to everyone who's been supporting me over the last couple of weeks. It's been fantastic. Like I said, all this equipment is like it's become a full-time job for me. Like, so even the merch sales, all this here, all supported by yourself, and it's been absolutely fantastic to be doing this over the last 10 weeks. Big thank you again to the guys at Banterflex for writing the Disney quiz, and my buddy Tom for providing us with a football quiz throughout the week. You can actually play those quizzes anytime you want via the YouTube channel. So here we go. Starting off tonight, Big Nerd Pub Quiz, as we always do. First round is general knowledge. I think you should really rename that from general knowledge to current affairs, because the next 6 questions are all about stuff that's happened over the last couple of weeks in the media, aside from the obvious you know what. But anyway, I thought what better way to kick off a very, very current affairs question with round 1, question number 1. So here we go. Get your Google Docs ready. It's the first question of the evening. Here we go. It is all about this guy here. So what was the name of the castle that Dominic Cummings went on a drive to supposedly test his eyesight? So round 1, question 1. It's kind of like me getting in my car after coming out of the pub. Said, I'm not too sure whether I'm drunk or not. I can get in the car. It's the only one way to find out. Jump in the car and see what happens. But yes, we're all aware of this dominating the headlines over the last couple of days. But what was the name of the castle that Dominic Cummings said that he went on a drive to test his eyesight? Sure, Dom. I believe you there. So round 1, question 2. The name of the SpaceX crew capsule, which is set to launch 2 American astronauts to the ISS. I think it's actually happening now. I got a text from Angie during the week from the European Space Agency. She was saying, I think the launch is happening pretty soon. So yes, we'll try to get the quiz done so you can get to watching that later on. The launch was meant to happen on Wednesday, but it got scrubbed due to bad weather. Round 1, question 2. What's the name of the SpaceX crew capsule, which is set to launch the first crewed American mission from America to the ISS tonight? Here's your next question, involving another leader here. So round 1, question 3. Which park was Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar spotted in having a big bag of cans during the week? Leo is the current Taoiseach of the Republic of Ireland, and that's him there with his top off in the sunglasses and enjoying the sunshine. He does say he was maintaining social distancing guidelines, and yes, he was with just 1 or 2 friends. Certainly didn't make much big a scandal as the other thing during the week, but I'm looking for the name of the park which Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar was spotted in having a big bag of cans during the week. That's round 1, question 3. Okay, your next question. So which well-known author released a book this week for free called The Ichabod? So apparently this was a book that apparently was written ages ago, and it's just been stored up in an attic. And it got released online for free this week. It's called the Ichabod. But who wrote it? That's round 1, question 4. Which well-known author released a book this week for free called the Ichabod? Your next question, round 1, question number 5. Who's set to host the socially distanced TV BAFTA Awards at the end of July? So yes, they're going ahead with the BAFTAs despite the lockdown, and they're having a socially distanced one. I wonder how they're going to do that. I think might be on Zoom. Get to see inside some celebrities' homes. But yes, who's set to host the socially distanced TV BAFTA Awards at the end of July? 4 options there on your Google answer sheet. Have a look. And your final general knowledge or current affairs question for this evening. So which airline was subject to a data breach recently and has a possible £18 billion claim coming at them? So that's round 1, question 6. If you've flown with these guys before, you probably got an email from them telling you that, don't worry, only a few people got their credit cards stolen. But yeah. So yeah, which airline, which recently subject to a data breach and a possible £18 billion claim? Very serious there. So that's round 1, question 6. It's not our last question about airlines, but that'll give you a little clue about what's coming up later on tonight. But here's your roundup for the general knowledge current affairs round. So here we go. Round 1, question 1. What was the name of the castle that Dominic Cummings went on a drive to test his eyesight? Number 2. The name of the SpaceX crew capsule, which is set to launch 2 American astronauts to the ISS tonight. Number 3, which park was Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar spotted in having a big bag of cans? Number 4, which well-known author released a book this week called The Ichabod? Who's set to host the socially distanced TV BAFTA Awards at the end of July? That's number 5. And finally, number 6. Which airline was recently subject to a data breach and a possible £18 billion claim? Not cool at all. Okay, so anyway, that's the first round of Big Nerd Pub Quiz General Knowledge Edition over and done with for this evening. Don't forget to like and share on all the social media channels here. Like I said before, use the hashtag BigNerdPubQuiz to get in touch, and I'll hopefully get you a shout out. I've got tons of shout outs to read out already, so yes, fire them all at me here and I'll get your name read out at some point throughout the evening. Okay, moving on to the next round. So I've decided to theme this next round, and it is all about money. Yes, so 6 questions all about the very essence of capitalism and currencies from different parts of the world, etc., etc. So yes, random assortment of questions all around the theme of money, and here's your first one. So round 2, question number 1. What is the national currency of Poland? I know some of my buddies who were out there for the Euros in 2016, or in 2012. So yeah, you guys should know this. So you've got 4 options there. So round 2, question number 1. What's the national currency of Poland? Round 2, question 2. Which historical figure appears on the US $100 bill? You can kind of see the edge of his head there in that pic. But I made sure not to just give it away. You hear a lot of rappers mention who I'm talking about. But yes, round 2, question 2. Which historical figure appears on the US $100 bill? Round 2, question 3. What was the name of the bank that was collapsed by the rogue trader Nick Leeson in 1995? Subsequently made into a film starring Ewan McGregor in 1998. Not a bad film. Kind of documenting the collapse of that particular bank due to fraudulent trading, and there's also a fantastic documentary out there about it as well. From the same guy who did Hypernormalization. But yes, round 2, question 3. What was the name of the bank that was collapsed by the rogue trader Nick Leeson in 1995? Round 2, question number 4. What is the name of the home of the United States Bullion Depository? If you don't know it, you might have heard the actual term used to describe something which is heavily fortified. Alright, so that should give you a clue. Round 2, question 4. The name of the home of the United States Bullion Depository. I believe it is in the state of Kentucky. So it's round 2, question number 4. Round 2, question 5. Which Scottish scientist and inventor appears alongside Matthew Boulton on the new UK £50 note? So yes, over the last couple of years, the Bank of England have reissued the currencies and have put different various figures. I believe it's Jane Austen on the £10 note. Winston Churchill on the 5. But who's on the 20? On the 50. But which Scottish scientist appears alongside Matthew Boulton on the UK 50 note? There's 2 people in there. The back of that. And your final question about money-related matters, round 2, question number 6. Money Money appears in the 1966 Broadway musical and later a 1972 film starring Liza Minnelli and Michael York. So which musical am I talking about? So Money Money appears in which 1966 Broadway musical and later a 1972 film? Fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. It's very well done. Actually, one of my favorites, I have to say. But yes, I won't sing it. But yes, Money Money. So the 1972 film and the 1966 Broadway musical, which one is it? I think the Liza Minnelli should give you a definite clue there. And a roundup there at the end. I'm looking for the national currency of Poland, question number 1. Number 2, which historical figure appears on the US $100 bill? 3, the name of the bank that was collapsed by rogue trader Nick Leeson in 1995. Number 4, the name of the home of the United States Bullion Depository. Number 5, the name of the Scottish scientist and inventor that appears alongside Matthew Boulton on the UK £50 note. And finally, Money Money, the song appears in which 1966 and 72 musical? Alright, so don't worry, if I'm going too fast, by all means, you can pause the stream at any point and go all the way back to the end. But like I said before, you can also replay any of the quizzes at any time going on to the Big Nerd Pub Quiz website on the YouTube channel. Okay, before we move on to round 3, quick couple of shout-outs. First of all, big shout-out to my live producer tonight, Ryan Kumiski. My dad's away at the moment, out walking the dog, so that he's not been able to live produce for me this evening. So Ryan in Manchester is watching, as he does every week, to let me know if anything goes wrong. I think it's going okay so far. Shout-out to Adam Dean. He was 21 years old yesterday and he works in a care home. He's a frontline worker, and that's from Lauren. Good man yourself. Thank you very much for tuning in. Sarah Morrow wants to wish Colin Morrow a very happy birthday, and that's from Emma, Jake, the kids, and the mum-in-law June. Happy birthday, buddy. And a massive welcome home to George and Mark, who were out in exile out in Pennsylvania for the last 10 weeks. Great to have you back on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. And also a big shout out to the London crew: Hannah, Phil, Haley, Steph, Greg, Paul, Juliet, Rory, Vicky, Lloyd, Becca, Ollie, Theo, Sarah, and Tom, who wrote the football quiz earlier in the week. If you want to give me a shout out, I'm seeing here my phone lighting up. So yes, continue to send them in, and I'll hopefully get a mention for you at some point this evening. Okay, moving on to the next round this evening, and it's all about tall buildings. Okay, so it's one of those rounds where I'm going to ask you to put things in order. I'm going to show you 6 very well-known buildings. All I want you to do is put them in order of height, starting from the lowest to the tallest. So here we go. So those are your options. Starting from the top left there, the Washington Monument. Below it, the Chrysler Building. The Burj Khalifa in the middle there. Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore in Florence. The Tokyo Tower in Japan. And the CN Tower in Toronto. But yes, put those structures in order of height, starting from the smallest and working your way up. So if you think the Washington Monument is the smallest of all those 6 structures. Put it at number 1. If you think the Burj Khalifa is number 2, put it at number 3 and work your way down. All right. So a little bit about each one of those. The Washington Monument at one point was the tallest structure in the world until it was eclipsed by the Eiffel Tower. It was built in the 19th century. And there's actually coins. Well, I think there's like a time capsule buried underneath it. And yes, you can go into it. You can actually go all the way up to the top of the monument itself. It sits on the Mall in Washington, D.C., between the Lincoln Memorial and all the way down Capitol Hill, and then to the other side of it, you've got the White House. So yes, it forms a kind of a cross there in the middle. Burj Khalifa out in Dubai, one of the tallest buildings in the world. But is it the tallest of this list? The Tokyo Tower, the lattice tower built in the 50s in Tokyo in Japan, and is actually one of the city's big monuments. It's actually been eclipsed by another observation tower that was built in 2012. But yes, the Tokyo Tower there in Japan. Chrysler Building, fantastic Art Deco building in New York. At one point was the tallest building in the world until it was eclipsed by the Empire State Building. Probably the oldest building in the list is the cathedral in Florence. The Duomo itself is actually considered to be a bit of an architectural wonder in that they don't really know how it was built. And it was way ahead of its time, much, much larger than anything that had been built at the time. And finally, the CN Tower, CN being the Canadian Rail Company. And yes, fantastic. If you go downtown in Toronto there, you've got the Toronto Aquarium. And beside that, the Sky Dome, home of the Toronto Blue Jays, with its famous closing roof. And if you ever get to see a baseball day, try to get a seat with a brilliant view on it. I'm going to leave these up for another couple of seconds. Trying to put them in order, like I said before, starting. So we've got the Washington Monument, the Burj Khalifa, Tokyo Tower, Chrysler Building, the Duomo in Florence, and the CN Tower in Toronto, Canada. Like I said, I give the kids this very similar type of question during the week, and they did very well on it. So I thought I'd give the same one to you guys. See if you guys do any better. Okay, a couple of more seconds on that. I'm going to move on. All right, so anyway, that was your tall buildings round of Big Nerd Pub Quiz tonight. So yes, I hope you enjoyed that one. Time now is just 22 minutes past 8 by my clock. I think there's a very, very slight delay in my stream. But yes, thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget, there's tons of quizzes coming up. We've got the Marvel DC quiz on the 1st of June. If you know any comic book fans, then do get involved. It's going to be a good one. And there's some really cool prizes from the comic book guys. More on that later. Do keep an eye on the social media for more details on that. And the Father Ted quiz on Wednesday the 3rd of June. I know you guys are all really looking forward to that. Alright, so the next round, like I said before, is the history round. Round 4. So yeah, no real particular theme to this history round, just a scattering of random history questions. So here we go, round 4, question number 1. Get ready. I'm looking for the name of the monarch of Great Britain at the very beginning of the 20th century. So who was sitting on the crown, or on the throne, on January the 1st, 1900? So round 4, question 1. Who was the reigning monarch of Great Britain at the very beginning of the 20th century? Round 4, question 2. I'm looking for the name of which communist leader who was assassinated by Joseph Stalin in Mexico in 1940. Now, I don't think he was actually killed personally by Stalin, but let's just say Stalin probably just gave the nod. But yes, round 4, question 2. The communist leader assassinated by Joseph Stalin in Mexico, 1940. The Yugoslavian leader, Tito, wasn't friends with Stalin at all, and was subject to many assassination attempts by him. Tito kept on foiling them. and actually said, Stalin, please stop sending me assassins. If you keep doing that, I'll send one, and I'll only need to send one. So anyway, that's round 4, question number 2. Round 4, question 3. Who appeared in the famous British World War I recruiting poster saying, "Your country needs you"? So that chap with the remarkable moustache. So round 4, question 3. So who appeared in the famous British World War I recruitment poster saying, "Your country needs you"? Round 4, question 4. In the Vietnam War, what was the name of the jungle supply line from the north to the south? So that's round 4, question 4. So I'm looking of the name of the jungle supply line that was used by the Viet Cong to supply troops in the south from the north. So that's round 4, question number 4. Round 4, question 5. Beginning in 1947, which city hosts the world's largest fringe festival? It's actually started in relation to an international festival that was held there, and now that festival has actually eclipsed the main one. So yes, I'm sure you'll all get that one. It's if you haven't done it, it's very, very good fun to do. I'm looking for the name of the city which holds the largest fringe festival in the world. And it started in 1947. Round 4, question 5. And finally, round 4, question number 6. The storming of the Bastille prison is celebrated in France each year on which date? So effectively, this is the French national holiday, much like Independence Day for the Americans, St. Patrick's Day for the Irish. But this is the French national holiday. It's their and like I said, it's called Bastille Day. So essentially what I'm asking is, what day does Bastille Day fall on? Round 4, question 6. And that's your final history round done for this evening. To recap again, so I'm looking for the name of the reigning monarch of Great Britain at the very beginning of the 20th century. Number 2, which communist leader was assassinated by Joseph Stalin, or on the orders of Joseph Stalin, in Mexico in 1940. Number 3, who appeared in the famous British World War I recruiting poster saying, "Your country needs you"? Number 4, in the Vietnam War, what was the name of the jungle supply line from the north to the south? Number 5, beginning in 1947, which city hosts the world's largest fringe festival? And finally, number 6, the storming of the Bastille is celebrated each year on which particular date? Alright, thank you very much. We've just come up to the halfway point of the quiz. It's coming up near to 8:30. And time now to have a quick look at some of our sponsors and we shout outs to a couple of other blogs and podcasts. But yes, check out this podcast here. My buddies Jez and Mary do this one. It's called Stuck in Here With You. It's a lockdown-based podcast and it's on Spotify, Podbean and Apple Podcasts. Also check out the Hot Topic Nightmare. Each week, my mate Paul challenges a friend of his to do a talk about a very particular subject or a random subject, and they have to do their best to give almost like a class presentation on it. Paul himself is currently writing the Pokemon quiz. He's started to write that, and we're thinking of throwing out a idea of doing a quiz about computer games. So yes, Paul's going to be helping me on that too. Also, big shout out to Banterflex again, and thank you so much for those guys who helped write the very cool Disney quiz. Do check it out; it's really, really good. You can check and play any of those quizzes again on the site itself. But yes, Banterflex, they did a fantastic job. Very, very entertaining quiz, and much great reviews and great feedback for that. So big thanks to Trey's and Jim for helping me out with that one. And the Fright Club guys in Ballamania, that's at the Fright Club NI. Hopefully when the lockdown gets lifted, they'll be able to be doing their horror movie screenings, and they're going to be helping me out with the horror movie quiz in a couple of weeks. Also, I'm going to be doing from Monday from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Zest FM, the classic 80s hits, the Mark Hughes Breakfast Show on Zest FM. So do check that out. I'll send you a link to that, and I'll be posting more about that on the social media. And also check out Nerd Party, big collection of big nerdy podcasts out there as well. Also, we're going to possibly potential brand new sponsor, and that's Lockdown Pale Ale. It's from the guys of Northern Iron Brew. This has been sent to me by CB Drinks, and yes, they sent me a sample case during the week. Very, very tasty stuff. So Lockdown Pale Ale from Northern Iron Brew Co. And it's available from all those off licenses that you can see there on your screen. If you're in the north, do give them a look. And also, you can buy official Big Nerd Pub Quiz merchandise from Northern Iron Tees. And like I said before, don't forget, you can donate to Patreon and PayPal. Thank you very much for everyone who's been supporting me over the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely amazing. And like I said before, this has become a full-time job for me. And it's an absolute pleasure for me to do it. I have to say, really, really enjoying my time here. There's tons and tons of quizzes coming up. And like I said, tons of quizzes that you can play before. This is 33 or 34 quizzes I've done in the last couple of weeks. But yes. Anyway, moving on this evening. And I know if you've played before, you know what's coming up for round 5. It is the sports round. Yes, every fifth round of Big Nerd Pub Quiz is always going to be a sports round, and tonight's specialties are all about record breakers and record holders. So here we go, round 5, question 1. I'm looking for the name of the fastest men's 100 sprint outdoor. So who holds the record for the fastest men's 100 sprint outdoor, 100 meter sprint? Again, I stress outdoor because the International Athletics Federation do differentiate between indoor and outdoor times due to wind resistance, etc., etc. And certain, even marathons, etc., with various wind conditions aren't even counted. But that's round 5, question number 1. And speaking of marathons, the first sub-2-hour marathon, who holds the record for that? And again, technically unofficial, but was famously broken last year. This chap did it with... it didn't count because they had a pace car in front of him, reducing wind resistance, and he also had loads of other pace runners as well. But yes, amazingly ran a marathon under 2 hours. Again, weirdly doesn't officially count. Round 5, question 3. I'm looking for the name of the most successful player in Ryder Cup history by most points scored. I'm not looking for tour appearances. I'm looking for in terms of most points scored. It's round 5, question 3. Not a big golf fan myself, but I do love the Ryder Cup. I always think it's very entertaining. Round 5, question 4. Kind of tapping into a round in the football quiz there about one-cap England wonders. But I'm looking for the player with the most caps for the England football team. And that's at 125 appearances. 125 first team appearances. Round 5, question 4. Round 5, question 5. I'm looking for the name of the all-time try scorer in the Six Nations with 26 tries. No one coming near him just yet. But I'm looking for the name of the all-time highest try scorer in the Six Nations with 26 tries. Hopefully the Six Nations will get back underway in the autumn. Got tickets for the France game, so fingers crossed. Round 5, question 6. And I'm looking for the most successful Olympian. So the person with the most Olympic medals, 23 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze. An amazing haul. But round 5, question 6. The person with the most Olympic medals, standing at 23 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze. And there's your sports roundup there. So quickly going through them one more time. I'm looking for the fastest men's 100 meter sprint. I'm looking for the record holder for the sub 2 hour marathon. Like I said before, technically unofficial. Number 3, the most successful player in Ryder Cup history by most points scored. Number 4, I'm looking for the most caps for the England football team at 125. And number 5, the all-time try scorer at the Six Nations with 126 tries. Spelled that wrong. tires. And 6, most Olympic medals, 23 gold, 3 silver, and 2 bronze. Unfortunately, OBS doesn't have a spell check, and I'm not the greatest speller. Anyway, good news though, the football is coming back soon in the middle of June, so do keep an eye on the social media, because I might be shifting about the times. Normally every quiz goes out at 8 p.m, but if the quizzes are happening, if the football is happening, and I'm definitely going to want to be watching, then I know a lot of you guys are too, so I might shift the times about. So we might have an early kickoff at 7 p.m. Couple more shout outs before we move on to round number 6. We've got Richard and Raven in Edmonton in Canada, and that's from Lindsay O'Malley and Peter. Good to hear from you guys, and glad you're playing the quiz tonight. So Sean Owens is watching in White Abbey with Shannon, his girlfriend, and Sean and Lillian, his parents. Good to see you guys as well. Sadie and Grant also in Canada, watching from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Like I said, I have a weird kind of cult following over there. And Angie, like I said before, was messaging during the week about the SpaceX launch. I don't know what the status of that is. Someone could text me and let me know, has that happened yet? But yes, we're going to move on to the next round here this evening, and it is all about musical nicknames. So yes, a bit of a change on the musical nicknames this evening. I'm going to show you the nicknames of 6 musicians, very, very famous musicians. You'll definitely get a couple of these if you've dropped points throughout the quiz so far. But yes, this should be an easy enough round. But here we go, round 6, musical nicknames, and I'm pretty sure we'll all get this one. So who in music was known as the King? It's round 6, question number 1. Who in music was known as the King? Should be fairly straightforward. You know, if you got that one, you'll know a couple of the rest of these ones. So that's round 6, question number 1. Who was known in music as the King? Round 6, question 2. I'm looking for the Godfather of Soul. That's number 2 of your music questions this evening. Who was known as the Godfather of Soul? And like I said, I could have seen this guy once at a festival, and again in Dublin, and unfortunately I remember he was playing in the Olympia in Dublin. I was in a burger bar that night, and my friend was like, should we go see him, see if we can get tickets? And I was like, nah, I'll be alright. Actually died a month later. So yes, it's round 6, question 2, the Godfather of Soul. My lesson there is, if you get tickets for something, go to it. You never know, could be the last time. Round 6, question 3, the Boss. Who in music is the Boss? Saw this guy back in 2014. Was playing in the Croke Park Stadium. And again, this guy can make a stadium feel intimate. He can make you feel like you're right there. I didn't think it was going to be that good, but it was. Round 6, question 3, the Boss. So who's the Boss? Round 6, question 4, who was known as the chairman of the board? Very, very famous musician, massive career, very, very long career. But the chairman of the board, who was that? Round 6, question 4. Round 6, question 5, a little bit tricky this one, but who was known as the Mod Father? Mods, the fashion kind of tribe from the 60s. Saw a revival in the late 70s, and there are still mods out there riding around there in their Vespas, but who do they consider to be the Mod Father? It's round 6, question number 5. And round 6, your final music question this evening, round 6, question 6, who's known as the Man in Black? Round 6, question 6, the Man in Black. No, not Tommy Lee Jones or Will Smith. I'm looking for the musician. Kind of a really cool look, I think, when he got that locked down. That's round 6, question 6. And there's your roundup there of the musical nicknames. So go through them one more time. Looking for the name of the King, the Godfather of Soul, the Boss, Chairman of the Board, the Mod Father, and the Man in Black. hope everyone's enjoying the nice little jazzy music I've got here. All the music tonight is supplied by the guys at Epidemic Sounds. So if you're doing any YouTube projects and you need kind of royalty-free music at a very affordable prices, do use Epidemic Sounds. It's awesome. And like I said, I decided to go for kind of like lounge jazz, and I think this might be kind of like a Christmassy jazz tune. It's anyway, moving on this evening. So we're going on to a specialist round, and like I said before, I mentioned that in one of the questions would give you a clue to what was coming up. So round 7 is all going to be about airlines. So yeah, when's the last time you were on a plane? It's been a while. All I can say is, and I guess the other night I actually looked up and I saw a contrail in the sky, and I was like, haven't seen one of those in a while. And normally, yes, we're over in an approach path. So yeah, haven't seen planes in quite some time. But there you go. So next 6 questions are all going to be about airlines. I'm going to show you the tail fins of some of the most famous airlines in the world. Some running, some not. All you have to do is guess the airline which I'm talking about, or which you see in front of you. So it's a picture round. Round 7, question number 1. So it should be an easy one to start off with. What airline logo is that? Still has the record and has the honor of actually being one of the safest airlines in the world. So it's round 7, question 1. Which airline's logo is that? Round 7, question 2. A little bit closer to home, this one. But which airline is this? Another flag carrier, as it were. Don't really get flag carriers anymore, as state-owned airlines are now, most of them have been privatized or partially state-owned. But yes, this was the main flag carrier for a European country. That's round 7, question 2. Round 7, question 3. I've actually blurred out the name on this one. One of the oldest airlines still in existence. I think it was started in 1927. And is still in continuous operation to this day. Round 7, question number 3. Round 7, question number 4. I think you'll all get this one. Thought I'd throw in an easy one. But yes, another partially state-owned airline. National flag carrier for which country? I think the giant shamrock will give it away. Round 7, question 5. Could be a little bit tricky, this one. It's derived from a tribal symbol which was found predominantly in this country. But which airline is this? It's round 7, question 5. And your final one. This is a defunct airline. It went out of business in 1991, declared bankruptcy, but at one point was the unofficial flag standard of the United States, and one of the most glamorous airlines, featured in the films Catch Me If You Can. Even had its own TV series, kind of like a Mad Men-esque TV series, and was probably one of the best airlines in the 60s. No longer flying anymore. What's the name of this particular company? Okay, just going to go through the questions one more time so you can get an idea. Round 7, question number 1. Question 2. Question number 3. Question number 4. Question 5. And question number 6. Okay, and that's your penultimate round of Big Nerd Pub Quiz this evening. I've just been informed that the SpaceX launch went perfectly, and the crew are now heading towards orbit and the International Space Station. And if you live in the southeast of England, do see if you can pop out and see the spaceship flying overhead at some point. But you can use an ISS tracker to actually have a look at the International Space Station. It's one of the brightest objects in the sky. I'll do a couple of shout-outs. From Aaron Tumbledy here, can you give a shout-out to Stevie Tumbledy in Downpatrick, who's taking part in the quiz tonight, and he's celebrating his birthday today. He says he aces the quiz every week. Let's see how you do this week as well, mate. We've got a Scott Perry. He's saying here that the SpaceX launch is going really well, and it's happened. Yes, David Mooney's also said happening as well. Also, another shout out to from Holly Ann Smith, and there's a shout out to her husband Naz. He's 33 from Brighton, and they're playing together, and he's a huge fan of it. Thank you very much, guys. One more shout out here. Shout out to Michelle Hannah, whose big 33 birthday is tomorrow, and that's from her favorite sister Nikki. I'll see if I can get a couple of more shout outs done before the end of the quiz, and we're going to go into the final round this evening. And here we go. It is the Round 8's all about collective nouns. Now, you're scratching your heads. What's that all about? So collective nouns is basically terms given to groups of things or objects, particularly animals. But yes, this next 6 questions are all going to test your knowledge. Whether you know them or not, take a stab at what they could be. They're quite humorous and quite funny. And I'll try to get the quiz wrapped up before 9 because I have a pizza to pick up from the good guys at Pizza Point in Warren Point. It's the first pizza I've had, first takeaway pizza I've had in... Oh, why did I forget? It's been a long, long time, so I thought I'd treat myself this evening. But yes, collective nouns. Here we go, first 6 questions. And don't forget, when you hit the last answer on the Google form, you'll get your score, but stick about for the answers here. So here we go. Round 8, question number 1. I'm looking for... You should get this one. It's a nice, easy one to start off with. I'm pretty sure you've all heard it. Round 8, question 1. It's a murder of what? Okay. So when they say it's a collective murder of... So what's that referring to? Round 8, question number 1. Nice, easy one to start off. I know a lot of you know it. That's your first question this evening. Round 8, question 2. Oh, lost my camera there. Round 8, question 2. A skulk. So what's it referring to when someone says a skulk? It's round 8, question 2. You'll probably have a lot of them in your garden now, because of the lockdown and more of them kind of getting brave and coming into the city. That's round 8, question number 2. God, my camera's all about the place today. Round 8, question 3. I'll make that a bit bigger. Round 8, question 3. A parliament. So what is being spoken about when you're talking about a parliament? And I think it's quite a nice term to use for these particular animals because they're quite stately. So round 8, question 3. So when I'm referring to a parliament of what am I saying? Round 8, question 3. Round 8, question 4. A raft. This could be a little bit of a tricky one. Use your logic on this. Okay? Kind of a water-based animal, perhaps? Like standing about in the water. Round 8, question 4. A raft of... What am I talking about? It's round 8, question 4. And here comes your penultimate question for this evening. A mob. That's round 8, question 5. A mob. I did get a quick question from somebody there that said one of the buttons wasn't working on the quiz. I don't know. That could be a problem on your end because I test the questions before they go out. So if a particular person in question, they know who they're talking about, jot down your answers, refresh very quickly. Hopefully you don't lose all your questions. But yes, that's round 8, question 5. I'm going to give you your last question. You're going to get your results at the end, but stick about for the answers. So here we go. Final question of tonight's general knowledge quiz, 30th of June, 2020. And it is an ambush. Gosh, damn it. Didn't load in my camera tonight. So an ambush. Watch this. A little bit of magic here. I'm going to make it reappear. Nope. Video capture device. Let's put it in. I'm looking for an ambush. Hey, there we are. So round 8, question 6. An ambush of what am I talking about? Sounds big and scary, and you would be right. Anyway, there's your roundup of the questions there. Round 8 questions. So a murder, a skulk, a parliament, a raft, a mob, and an ambush. And that's your final questions of this evening. Colin has sent me a message here saying, can you tell Jane McLarnon to stop moaning? Okay, Paul Crossy sent me a shout out here, and he says, can you give a shout out to Jemima, who's the second biggest nerd of all time after Annabella, her sister, and they're playing in Fleet in Hampshire. Good to hear from you guys. I think I've got a couple of requests coming in via Instagram as well. Phil, he said to me, can I get a shout out to Tasman, Stuart, Rachel, and Joe, and they're competing against each other in Glasgow and Dumfries. Good to hear from you, Phil. And we've also got Laura Austin, who's playing. She's added to her story there. Also got requests. Joe O'Brien says, happy birthday for tomorrow for my mum Penny Wills, who is 60, and we love playing the quiz each week. And Adam Dean, he's also playing tonight, and he's added me to his story as well. Thanks so much, guys, for all tuning in. I'm sorry if I didn't manage to get you a shout out this week. Deep apologies, but like I said, I got flooded with messages. Do try to message me before the quiz goes out, and I'll always try to get a shout out for you at some point. But yes, do get in touch with me using all the social media channels, and don't forget to donate to the Patreon and the PayPal if you want to support the quiz and everything that I'm doing here. Like I said before, if you feel you can donate me the cup of coffee or price of a pint, that would be pretty sound. Anyway, so thank you very much for liking and subscribing. And here is the answers for tonight's Big Nerd Pub Quiz, the General Knowledge Edition. So, Bernard Castle was the castle where Dominic Cummings said he drove to test his eyesight. The Dragon capsule is the one that's flown to space right now by SpaceX. Phoenix Park is the name of the park where Leo Varadkar was drinking in during the week. Don't blame him. Sure, it's hard work being Prime Minister, isn't it? Or Taoiseach. J.K. Rowling wrote that book, which went out for free. Richard Ayoade, you might know from the IT Crowd, is the host of the TV BAFTAs this year. And EasyJet were the airline subject to a massive data breach throughout the week. Your round 2 answers about money. Zloty is the currency of Poland. Benjamin Franklin, the statesman, appears on the $100 bill. Barings Bank is the bank that was collapsed by Nick Leeson. Lives in Galway at the moment. Fort Knox is the United States bullion depository. James Watt is the scientist who appears on the £50 note. And Cabaret is the musical where the money makes the world go round, the world go round. That's it. So we could be doing a musical theatre quiz at some point. Somebody did recommend that. Here's the order in which those structures came in at. So, the smallest one of those is in Florence, and that's the Cathedral of Santa Maria, and that's at 114 metres. Followed by that is the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C. That's 169 metres. This could have thrown a lot of people, but the Chrysler Building's actually smaller than the Tokyo Tower, coming in at 319 metres, as opposed to 333 metres by Tokyo. The CN Tower, one of the largest freestanding structures in the world, is 553 metres, but it's dwarfed by the massive Burj Khalifa, and that's 828 metres. There's another building coming up in Riyadh, in Jeddah, I think, or Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and it's apparently going to be a kilometre high. It's going to be called the Kingdom Tower. I don't know how far it's got yet, but it's currently being built. Round 4, your history ones. Queen Victoria was the head of the monarchy at the start of the 20th century. Leon Trotsky assassinated in Mexico. Lord Kitchener was that famous chap with the big moustache. The Ho Chi Minh Trail is the one that supplied the line of the Viet Cong to the south. Edinburgh is the city in which the Fringe takes place every year, started in 1947, and the 14th of July is Bastille Day. It's coming up pretty soon as well. Okay, those record holders there. Usain Bolt, still the fastest 100-meter sprinter in the world. Eliud Kipchoge is the marathon runner who ran it in under 2 hours. Sergio Garcia, the most prolific, or the most points scored in the Ryder Cup. Peter Shilton has the most England caps. Brian O'Driscoll is the leading try scorer of all time in the Six Nations, and Michael Phelps has the most Olympic medals. So those nicknames. The King of Rock and Roll is Elvis Presley, as you all know. James Brown, the Godfather of Soul. Bruce Springsteen's the boss. Frank Sinatra, Old Blue Eyes, is the chairman of the board. Paul Weller, the mod father. And Johnny Cash, the man in black. Here's those airlines. Qantas, which actually is an acronym for Queensland and Northern Territories Air Service, in case you didn't know that. Lufthansa, the German airline, there at number 2. KLM, the Dutch airline, which means Royal Dutch Airlines. Aer Lingus, the flag carrier for Ireland. Air New Zealand at number 5. And Pan Am, which was the famous airline that no longer exists with us now. And our final roundup there, our final question. So, was a murder of crows, a skulk of foxes, a parliament of owls, a raft of otters, a mob of kangaroos, and an ambush of tigers? That brings us up 5 minutes to 9, and I'm going to be out the door to get my pizza now in a bit. But thank you so much for joining me again for another edition of Big Nerd Pub Quiz. I know it's amazing weather out there, and I thank you so much. But yes, keep in touch and let me know how you think. If you have any suggestions for quizzes, if you want to write a quiz for me, or if you want me to host a private quiz, a corporate one, or anything like that, do get in touch. You got the email addresses here. We've got all the social media channels there. Subscribe, like, do all that jazz. But yes, do keep in touch. Here's your lineup for the next couple of days. Next week, we've got the Marvel DC quiz. Do tune into that. We're giving away great prizes from comic book guys in Belfast. They're supplying the prizes for the evening. Father Ted quiz. It's happening on Wednesday, the 3rd of June. Go on. You will. It's going to be on the 3rd of June. Raffles writing that for me. The Friends quiz the weekend after that. And that is on 8th of June. At 8 p.m. I know loads of people are looking forward to that. Got a massive response. And there's your June lineup coming up as well. We've got a music quiz, Simpsons quiz, movie quiz, James Bond 2000s, horror, all coming up. And like I said, the Pokemon and wrestling quiz, we'll get dates for them as well. We might even shuffle them about. So do stay in touch. Do stay in touch. Do let me know what you think. Keep in touch with all the different social medias and stuff like that. And yes, that's it for this evening. I'll see you guys again on Monday for the Marvel DC quiz. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. And I'll see you again soon. That's the lineup for next week. Like I said, next one, Marvel DC quiz on Monday. Have a great weekend. And there's all the links. I'll see you all again soon. Take care and good night.